Yeah, I had downloaded the attendance. Now I will start the class.
Good morning.
Okay, so this is the syllabus copy. What we are dealing now is web programming. So everyone is familiar with the course. Now every course to have credit in terms of the number of classes, and when you gain, I hope this is visible to everyone. Can someone respond, Sneha?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think that this is clear to everyone, the instructions in your syllabus copy, that what does this include. Okay, so here this you do have the number of credits, those in terms of the classes. So you can check this, that these number of classes are going to come. So every course do have learning objectives, that what is the intention you are going to learn this syllabus. Okay, means this particular course. Okay, basically every course to have 4 learning objectives. So this objective should be very clear and you should follow these objectives. We will monitor you in terms of your outcomes. Okay, so whether you are achieving this after completion of this unit, whether you are gaining this knowledge or not is important. So if you see that LO1, designing the static pages. So first of all, let me introduce what is a web programming is, what we are going to learn, then I will come upon the syllabus. So I think this is clear that 40 marks is internal and 60 marks is for end semester examinations. Okay, along with this, we are promoting the concept of I2RE. So innovation, incubation, research and entrepreneurship. So from last previous semester also you are familiar with this concept. The same thing is applied in web programming also, and I will tell you the advantages that why we are going for I2RE culture. Okay. Right. So before proceeding to the I2RE, what is web programming? What in terms of web programming? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by web? What do you mean by web? Okay, from where you got this terminology called as a web? Okay, generally this web is referred to as like spider web. Okay, now if you look into the spider web, there are a lot of number of connections. Okay, there are a lot of number of connections in this web. Okay, means one node is getting connected to another node with the help of some connection. Okay, in a very similar manner, in our World Wide Web, what we generally call it as, it is a generalized terminology for sharing the documents. Okay, so in the World Wide Web, what generally happen is, how this World Wide Web is formed with the help of internet. Okay, what is internet? Internet again is an concept of interconnecting of one machine with another machine. We do have terminologies like internet and intranet. Intranet, the machines which are connected inside an organization is referred to as an intranet. For example, in your own home, you are having 2 machines. You are connecting. Machines are nothing but, it may be a computer, it may be your mobile phone, or any machine which is having a connectivity of internet. If you are connecting those 2 devices in a locally, then we generally refer to as an intranet. Suppose in our college we do have a lot of internet machines which are connected with each others. Okay, now here in a similar manner, intranet, where we are connecting to the World Wide Web. Okay, so all the world machines are getting connected. Okay, so here with the help of internet we are going to share the documents. So now sharing in terms of document is referred to as generally like we are doing with the help of some Google Drive. Okay, we do have Google Drive. Okay, and there we are sharing some document. Similarly, we do have web pages. Web pages are also the documents. So here in the web programming, we are going to learn web programming, that how to create these web pages. So what are web pages are? Web pages are actually the documents which are helpful for us to share certain content. Okay. Now let me explain you again that what is a web pages. Okay. Is that clear? Can someone respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now here, please remember that whenever you get some doubt, raise the hand or unmute yourself and try to ask more doubts such that you can learn the more the things. Okay. And thing is, as this is an elective, so this is a mandatory elective here in the semester. So I think everyone need to have this web programming in your course. Okay. And I will tell you the importance of this course, why we have to learn this. Okay. Right. So what are web pages are? So what are the web pages? Web pages are nothing but these are stored into some machine, like we call it as a server, or the collection of servers referred to as cloud. Okay, so we are listening a lot of the terminology called as an cloud in these days. So cloud is nothing but it's just a cluster. Cluster is nothing but the collection of high performing machines clubbed together to form a individual cloud. Okay, so what generally happen is, in this cloud I will place a web page. Okay, now this web page can be accessible by different machines. Okay, we term this machine as a client. Okay, in general this architecture referred to as client server technology. Okay, so what generally happen is, whenever we open a browser, not only the browser or any application, at our end what generally happen is a request will be sent to the server, corresponding server, stating that this client is trying to access some document. Okay, that is a web page. Okay, then the client give the permission to access this web page. Okay, means it is only the client can view this, he don't have the permission to modify this document. Okay, in web pages I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not talking about other types of documents, I'm only talking about web pages. So here the machine which is referred to as a client to have only the permission to view this content. Okay, means in the browser, suppose for example you are browsing www.kidsw.ac.in. Okay, so what is happening means a web URL. Okay, so this is universal resource location. Okay, means a universal resource location, URL generally referred to as an, means the resource in terms of this resource. So this is one resource which is located somewhere in the internet. So this universal resource locator, what does it do? It try to resolve the address of this particular resource. Okay, so in between we are having a DNS servers. Okay, domain naming servers we call it as. So these are going to resolve the address. Okay, and try to find out the machine which holds this web page. Okay, then immediately the web server means the server which hold the web pages are generally called as web server. So this web server will respond back to the client by this document. Okay, now here this document can be requested by n number of persons. Okay, so when it being requested by n number of persons, so I refer this. So let me draw it again. I am calling it as a server, and this is C1 as client 1, C2 as client 2, C3 as client 3. I don't know how many number of people can request this depending on the popularity. Okay, this n is nothing but the number of the clients, those who are referring to this server. Now here can someone state me what are the challenges over here on the server when we are having n number of connections? So generally you can face certain problems. So it will be happy for me if you share certain things on this, that what might be the problem on the server if n number of people are accessing to the server. Okay, then I will tell you what is the importance of web programming is. Okay, can someone tell me what can be the problem here, that
Server
more
down.
number of, yeah, server down,
Server busy.
absolutely true, absolutely true. I appreciate. Can I know who is this?
Srimai sir.
Yeah, that's fine. So probably everyone know this issue called as server is down. Okay, now yesterday we faced this problem, day before yesterday also I faced this problem, because I am the in charge of CMS. I developed the resources for CMS. Okay, so whatever the you are checking in the web, your CMS is being developed by me. So now what the challenge is, like server can be down. So there are certain reasons that why server can be down. Okay, if server have a capacity, okay, what do you mean by capacity? Let me give a very straightforward example. Like you are going to a restaurant. If you are going to a restaurant, okay, so one client is coming, one client with a family. You think that he's an individual, he's coming to a restaurant and he's ordering for some food. Okay, so who will prepare a food in a restaurant? There is a kitchen in the restaurant. They do have a chef who will prepare the food for us. Okay, now think, there is only one chef now, like what the server is there. Okay, so you are just trying to, you are reaching to the restaurant with certain medium of transport. So you are opting for an auto or your own transport mode, like you are going with your vehicle to the restaurant. Okay, so once you reach to the restaurant, so inside of restaurant, again the waiter will reach to the kitchen. Means there is some way of communication again between the restaurant and the kitchen area. Okay, so who will flow into this? Can someone tell me who will flow between this?
Waiter.
Waiter.
Yeah, absolutely true, that is a waiter. So waiter tries to access the kitchen, he will send the response to over here. Okay, means to the restaurant, means there is a table, you are sitting over here on the table, so he will respond, the waiter will respond. Now think only client 1 is there, chef is preparing the food. Okay, meanwhile client 2 reaches, meanwhile client 3 reaches, meanwhile client 4 reaches. So can anyone tell me, when client 4 reaches, what is the waiting time of this client?
C1 plus C2 plus C3.
Yeah, because the waiting time of C1, because he need to give a priority to C1, then he need to go to with C2, then he need to go with C3. Okay, now C4 will be angry. Can I know why he will be angry? Because his waiting time will be more. Will he again visit this restaurant then? Will he visit the
No.
restaurant?
No.
Yeah, so he will visit until he do have certain factors like quality food. Okay, no restaurant is providing quality food, but waiting time is more, still will be waiting. Okay, please compare this. I'm just going to compare this with a web server, how does happen over here. Okay, now here the restaurant can make the C4 to wait for C1 plus C2 plus C3. The food is completing for C1, C2 and C3, then it can go for it. So parallelly what he do, he start preparing the food for C2 also, he start preparing the food for C3 also, he start preparing the food for C4 also. Okay, means if you see that the chef is overburdened now. Okay, now you got C5, you got C6, now still the clients are getting increased. So what should I do now? As a restaurant owner, means as a site owner, as a website owner, what I has to do, either I has to increase the quantity of chefs, okay, such that I can handle more number of clients, or I have to make a restriction that only 5 customers can visit my restaurant at a time. Okay, so can you tell me which can be effective now? I want to do the business. So what should I do? What should I do? Yeah, this
Chefs
is
must be.
Increase the number
Increase the
of
number of chefs.
increase the number of chefs will be a very perfect solution for this. Okay, why so? Because I don't want to lose my clients. Similar thing happen over here in our server. Now see that I'm maintaining only with one chef, and I'm taking the orders of 100 customers. Chef will run away. My restaurant will shut down. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Means the server is getting overloaded with the clients. Might be that one reason why the server is down, overloaded. Okay, so as this is a machine, this is also a machine which is some with high capability. Okay, which is also having some hardware, which is also having a CPU, a memory, a primary memory and a secondary memory, and so on. Now what happened here, that there can be a power off. I'm stating you the reason that why the server can be down. Okay, now let me correlate this with our real world example. Like see that this is an Amazon website, and Amazon has declared a sale. Okay, 50% off sale. Okay, can you guess how many number of customers can reach to this? We call it as in clients now. I don't talk in terms of customers, because this is like a architecture of client and server architecture. Now see this, if the server is not capable of handling the number of requests, then the server may shut down. Okay, there might be different reasons for this. Okay, why? Because why this server will shut down, maybe due to heavyweight pages. Okay, what do you mean heavyweight pages? Heavyweight pages are nothing but which takes lot of computation power. Okay, here do you have CPU. So what generally happen when client 1 is requesting, this machine will try to identify the resource, the web page which is requested by this. Okay, so now this web page can be accessible by this client 1. Okay, means some computation power is required to do this computation. Okay, the client 2 again. Okay, so now if web pages are not designed properly, which are heavyweight for the CPU, okay, then proper optimization has been not done on this, then might be the reason that this server may shut down if more number of clients can increase. So these are all taken care by your administrator. Okay, so now this again to have lot of impact on the cost. Okay, the Amazon will continuously monitor that how many servers he need to maintain for this Amazon website. Okay, dynamic balance, load balance is done on this server. What do you mean by dynamic load balance? Whenever the clients are getting increase the number of chefs. Chefs are nothing but here the servers. Increase the servers to handle these requests. Goes on adding the servers. Suppose one server capable of handling some 1,000 users. Once it reaches the threshold of 999, then immediately add another server. Okay, then immediately when it tries to reach 1999, then try to add immediately another server. So these all technologies now being handled by cloud. We generally, this cloud is responsible for effective effective handling of all these resources. Okay, very good subject. When you have time, just try to read out some details about this cloud. Okay, but sir, now why what is this all stories about? This all story is about that how to create the web pages which can be an optimized web pages. Okay, now might someone might have been learn in your schoolings that what is a web page is. Okay, how to create the web pages with the HTML tags and all those things. Those are the basic things in our first unit. In the very first unit we are going to learn this. Now let me explain you that what is a web page is. So web pages are of two types. One is called as a static web page and one is called as a dynamic web page. I hope everyone is making certain points with this lecture. uh, Writing the running notes is a very good habit. Okay, so here listening the content and leaving is just a pleasure for your ears, not more than that. Okay, my intention is that how my students can learn I square RE culture. Okay, it is very important. I will not only just tell that to write your assignments and submit the assignments, then CPs and CRPs and all those things, that you need to focus that what is this I square RE culture is. Okay, I'll give you some of the examples that how my students got benefited with this I square RE culture. Okay, one is innovation, incubation, research, and apart from this, entrepreneurship. So now what is these things are? Okay, I will let you know. Okay, so I will not only just force you to write these assignments and CPs and CRPs and all those things, but I will make you to learn these things to have a practical knowledge on how you can think innovatively, how you can build up your innovation into an incubation, and how you can do and research on this particular content, that what you have learned is. And after making these things perfectly, then you can have a chance to have build up your own entrepreneur. Okay, I do have some 3 to 4 clients which I deal with. Okay, I do have real-time projects. I will show a lot of content to you. Okay, it depends on you that how you gain the things, how you learn the things, how you listen the class, and how you respond to me is more important. Okay, so now anyhow I will explain you in detail that how this I square RE culture can be. Okay, I'll give very simple example. People talk much about projects. What is actually a project is? What is the term called as project? Okay, in schooling days we could have referred this as a science project. Okay, now in your intermediate you could have been referred to as some other concept. Okay, but what is this project is? Okay, project just a, a kind of innovation. Okay, with the help of that, this is just like an idea. A project is just like an idea which is just in the form of just in a beginning state. Okay, now I will tell you in detail about this, that how to opt the projects, how the projects can impact uh, on your on your academics, and how it impacts on your upcoming career. Okay, so which is very important thing, that how the projects can be opted and how you can accomplish a project, and what technologies you should be aware of to learn the to do the projects. Okay, now let me complete first of all this. What is a web page is a static web page and a dynamic web page. A static web page is the page is where the content. What do you mean by content? Like if I refer to kidsw.ac.in. Okay, now there when we open the site, then you can find certain content into this website. Now content, like I will show you the kidsw.ac.in. Okay, so all this content here is the static content. What do you mean by static content? With respect to time, this will not change until an administrator will sit and he will do certain modification to this page, this is not going to change. Okay, so this referred to as static web pages. So the static web pages are actually the content which doesn't change, like you find some history. Okay, so history never changed, no. So such type of content can be placed under static web pages. Okay, but sir, this should be a page where the content should change with accordance to the time. Then how you guys manage this? So earlier I was responsible for this web team. No, I'm not in charge of this web team now. Okay, now some other faculty is handling this web pages, so they will sit and they will use some tool to manipulate this web page. So in this web programming, we are going to learn how to create static web pages, which is the content never change. Okay, until manually the user or the developer or the designer, we never call them as a developers, those who create the static web pages, we call them as a designers, those who are responsible uh, for for making the web page. The look and feel of the web page is designed by the designers. Okay, so we are going to learn this, that how to create a static web pages. Okay, in the very first unit, in the unit 1, we are going to see how to create the static web pages, and in the next units, in the unit 2, unit 3 and unit 4, we are going to handle that how to create the dynamic web pages. Now what is dynamic web page? For example, you are trying to check the cricket score. So simple, in the Google, now google.com is a dynamic web pages. This is a dynamic web page. So what is a dynamic web page? Means whenever you type something, it is trying to find out there itself the content, and it will just display you that what are all the things are there. Suppose if I type cricket score, then a web page will be displayed. This is again a dynamic web page. You click on this web page, then immediately it will show you that what is happening over there. For example, let us check it again. Like if I type India versus England, so test match is going on. If you see this, that this whole part from here to here, okay, is a dynamic content where you can see the live score here. Okay, so what is going on in the match. Okay, so if I click onto this, see that a web page is displayed with a different content. So see, a ball by ball summary is getting displayed here. So how this is happening? Okay, what are the things that has been used is, these are the content of a dynamic web page. Means the content of a web page will change with accordance to the time. Okay, now if you see that immediately one ball is getting thrown, then immediately it will add upon over here that uh, what generally happened there. So someone is being typed this, no one is getting seated over there and getting typing all these things. Actually this all is happening with the help of image processing, with the help of artificial intelligence, with the help of machine learning. This is a background. Okay, so we have to learn that how to create this. So the main intention of mine is how to create this dynamic web pages. So what are all the technologies which are getting used to create these dynamic web pages? Okay, so the most important technology here is the JavaScript. Okay, and the Ajax. We will deal all this in our course. Okay, so how this JavaScript and Ajax has influenced the market, the current trend, that if you are claiming that you are a web developer, then definitely people are going to ask you whether you know JavaScript or not. Okay, so JavaScript do have different frameworks. Okay, like Angular JavaScript JS. Okay, we call it as a Node.js, okay, React.js. These are all responsible nowadays to create a responsive websites. Okay, unfortunately in your curriculum this thing is not there, but I will give you the glance of this, that how you can learn these things from some other tutorials. Okay, so but these are very important concepts nowadays, that how dynamically you can create the web pages. Okay, so here we are again going to learn some other technologies which are referred to as backend technologies. So what is a backend technology? So now let me give, like, you are going to learn again JSP, okay, and PHP. Okay, we will see in time, when time passes, then we will see that what are all these things are. So I think that it's very clear for us that what is a dynamic web page is. Now a page, a web page generally is it consists of a HTML tags. Okay, these HTML tags are the tags which are responsible to display the content on a browser. Okay, it may be a browser or it can be an application. Okay, so if it is application, then generally we'll send an response as JSON, then the JSON file will be displayed to the user end. Okay, now here the content, that how the look and feel of the web page should be, is defined by this HTML. This is a one language which is an hypertext markup language. In the first unit we will learn about this hypertext markup language. Means this is generally referred to as front end. Okay, means how the user will see the application is referred to as front end. For designing the front end, we do have a lot of technologies again, like AngularJS can also be used for creating of front end. Okay, Node.js can also be used for this. Okay, and responsive CSS is again an important thing, that the look and feel of the web pages is defined by the cascading style sheet. This is also there in our syllabus. Okay, we are going to learn the rules and regulations of how to make the uh, look and feel, what should be the colors, what should be the text fonts, and how the appearances should be. Everything is going to decide by this CSS. Okay, then we are going to learn the JavaScript. So with the help of the JavaScript also we can define the front end. So this is all about the front end, that how the web page should be looking to the client. Okay, now they do have a back end. Okay, now suppose some data you are going to display on this, you want to display the data like a picture which you have been uploaded to your Facebook or Instagram or something. Okay, then this picture need to store somewhere, is it? This picture need to store either in a folder on the machine, or it need to be stored persistently in some database. Okay, so this database are responsible for storing the data persistently. Okay, so what is persistent data? The data which is storing permanently is referred to as persistent data. Now this backend technology, what does it do? Here we will write some programs, which is a Java program, or it can be a PHP program, which can be an ASP program, or which can be a Python program, or which can be a Perl program, which can be a Ruby program, or which can be an normal C program or C++ program. This was earlier people used to write in a backend for C and C++, but it was taking lot of resource. Earlier I told you what is the resources. Okay, means it is taking lot of computation power. Okay, so now people reduce to use this, and now lot of people are using as a backend. So people, when we are stating that I am a web developer, they generally will talk that whether you are a front end developer or you are a backend developer. Okay, now again the trend is people are asking that you should have a capability of design of creating both the front end as well as creating the back end. Okay, which we call it as an full stack developer. what it called as full stack developer. So what is my aim now is you should be perfect in creating a website in both the ends, that is at front end as well as in the back end. So you should be, upon the completion upon this web programming course, you should be a full stack developer now. Okay, you should be familiar with both the front end technologies and the back end technologies. I am referring this all as a technology and all this as a technologies. Okay, so you should be perfect in learning of all these technologies. I will make you to learn these things, that how you can create your own wonderful websites, how you can design your own websites, what are the tools which are available such that you can able to create the web pages, what are the tools which are responsible for creating of these back-end technologies. I will introduce all these things in your upcoming classes. Okay, so guys, feel very free to ask certain questions to me, that if something is running behind your brain, that is this course is necessary to learn, is it absolutely essential to learn. Yeah, so I will justify for that. Okay, the web developer is not only responsible for creating of front end technology and back end technologies, he is also responsible in the back end. Would have one important concept called as creating of API. Okay, so you know this, what is APIs. API generally referred to as application programming interfaces, where we are going to create some services. Okay, what are all these services are? For example, in the front end, we are not bothered about the front end, whether the front end is whether you are accessing from web browser or whether you are accessing it from an mobile application, that either it is an Android or iOS, okay, or some other iOS. Okay, so whether you are accessing it with some other hardware. Okay, I'm not at all bothered about this. Okay, I'm just bothered about that whether the request is coming to the server or not. Okay, properly the request is being made or not. Okay, I can't go to a restaurant and scold someone to bring the food. Okay, it's a process of requesting to the waiter. uh, that is an humbleness that we are going to provide, that is a protocol we need to follow. Okay, I can't simply go to uh, I can't simply go to a restaurant and just throw the plate and then say that please bring food for me. Okay, that is not good protocol. Means everywhere we need to follow a protocol. Similarly, in terms of the internet follow a very good protocol architecture, which refer to as the rules and regulations need to be maintained by that technology developer. So that is all about the details about the internet. That internet do have lot of protocols. So one, the protocol which is used over here is HTTP protocol. In our web generally I'm calling about hypertext transfer protocol. What is hypertext, Nana? Just now I told you that in HTML, hypertext markup language, sorry, HTML, in the HTML you can observe this, that these the HTML document can be able to access via this protocol called an HTTP protocol. There are other protocols also, like SMTP protocols, FTP protocols, other protocols are also there. Some other protocols are also there, with the help of which you can able to access the server. So what is this HTTP protocol is? Means it states certain rules and regulations that how the client should approach to the server, and what are all the things are there here is being supported, okay, by this HTTP protocol. So these things you are going to learn in detail in a syllabus, in the subject called as computer networks. Okay, this all how a client will reach to a server. Okay, then what happens when one machine communicates with another machine, what are the different things are there well in the communication, that everything is okay, you can learn in the course called as computer networks. Okay, so here the intention is that you should able to familiar of creating of this web services. Okay, because it is running on a web server, I term this as web services. Okay, this end I'm talking about server, this end I'm talking about client. Please Nana, here whenever I'm making a line here, then you need to identify that this line separates that this is a developer end, this is the customer end. Okay, so the services which is created either in the Java, because you learned Java, you should be familiar. Then it can be also created in the Python, it can be also created in ASP.NET. Okay, and in a PHP. So these two technologies we learn. Okay, PHP and Java. Okay, in the next semester when you learn Python, then you can able to create the web services in Python also. And there is a huge demand for the developers who will create the services. So what this service will do generally, suppose from a mobile you are accessing Amazon application. When you open in your mobile application, you open in the mobile application, if you open Amazon, what happened? It tries to send a request to the server, then immediately server will respond with some content. So what happened here is this will call a service. Okay, what this service is? Service is actually a program. Okay, you are requesting for Amazon, then Amazon to have a home page. Okay, so immediately the service for displaying the home page will be called. So what will be there in this program? It will go to the database and it try to fetch out the content, and the content is being is displayed accordingly, whether it is been called with a application, mobile application, or the browser, whether the content should be displayed in HTML format or it should be displayed in a JSON format or in other format, will be decided by the service only. Okay, so whenever you are sending a request, apart from the request, it will also send you that whether you are trying to access this server, because we are accessing the server, is it? So whether you are trying to access the server with an mobile application or whether you are trying to access with an computer with your laptop, or what you are trying to access. Okay, and accordingly it will send the response. Okay, once the response is being sent, then some content is displayed on your application. Okay, if you see that the main intention here is when you are telling that you are a mobile application developer like Android developer. Okay, Android developer are just responsible for creating the user interfaces but at the max. Okay, and what they will do, they are trying to call this service here. Okay, this service is more important now. So now when you are capable of creating such type of services, then you will have your huge demand. Okay, so now because whether you might be an mobile application developer, or whether you might be an web designer, or you might be another kind of you are accessing for another kind of work, but still it has a lot of high priority job. Okay, lot of high priority jobs are there in this creating of services. Okay, so my intention is my students should be capable of creating of this web services effectively. Okay, so meanwhile, while we go in depth, we will learn all these things, that how to create a web service and how you can host that. How hosting is nothing but while I am ready with my application, I need to upload it to the cloud. Okay, uploading this to the cloud is generally referred to as hosting. Okay, so the content is now available on the cloud such that every client can able to access. Okay, suppose if you are changing the content, you are trying to make some changes to your web programs. Okay, then meanwhile you have to halt it, you have to halt the to make some changes, then it will reflect. For example, you see that some websites are under maintenance, okay, or if you see that some applications will not respond, okay, the main reason is the services behind that is been getting modified, okay, that's the reason that your application cannot able to access. Now let me quickly jump into the content. Okay, so a very first unit I was talking about HTML, hypertext markup language, the cascading style sheets for defining the uh, styles, the style rules, that how the appearances should be, that how the look and feel of this should be. And JavaScript, I told you that the importance of this, the very important concept in first unit. It takes almost about some 16 classes for me to cover this first unit. Okay, the lecture schedule I will upload in the course web now. Okay, you can refer to the course web for all the contents. Okay, I will upload you all the material there in the course web page. Okay, now from immediately in the second unit we'll start learning about the dynamic web pages. Okay, these are all dynamic web pages contents can be created with the in from second unit. Okay, so JSP, JDBC, these all refer to the how we can create a dynamic web pages. Okay, then this is also PHP. PHP is another technology. I was referring you like JSP is a backend programming, PHP is a backend programming. So we will learn a huge content on PHP in this 2 units. Okay, so what is PHP and all those things we'll see in the third and fourth unit. Okay, now apart from that, we'll also learn the XML technology. What is XML? I will tell you in the next class that what is HTML and what is XML is. What is the difference between both two content is, and we will see some of the basic programs that how we can create a web page. And immediately you have to browse for some more content. I will give you the task for that, and that task will be considered as your assignment 1. Okay, I will give you the tasks and I give you the deadlines for completion of those tasks. You have to complete it and you have to upload in the WhatsApp group such that I can able to know that how many of you are exactly doing the things. I will record every individual activity what you are doing, okay, with your roll number. Okay, so any doubt you can raise me. Okay, so I will stop recording this